All right, guys, on today's product spotlight, we're going over our replacement coolant Degas hose kit for the 2011 to current 6.7 Power Stroke. All right, guys, so on the table in front of me here, we have our 2011 to current 6.7 Power Stroke replacement Degas coolant hose kit. So essentially what it is the smaller hose that lays on top of the engine in the engine bay. And what it does is it takes basically the top points of your cooling system, whether it be the rad, the Degas bottle, the EGR system, the heater inlet fitting, and it allows those bubbles to basically travel little coolant vapor and travel back to the Degas bottle. And it's a problematic hose from the factory. Anybody who works on these trucks is going to know what I'm talking about. The T's in the system are plastic on the factory hoses. Over time, they get super brittle. They see a lot of heat. They cause a lot of problems. And what happens is, being that it's on top of the engine, if you're working in the engine bay and you're laying on it or moving stuff, they easily crack, break, leak, and it's very problematic. The other thing that we see a lot with the factory hose, which is made of like a EPDM rubber, the factory hose gets brittle as well, because not only do you have 200-degree coolant flowing through it, but you also have all the radiant heat coming off the engine. You have radiant heat from the EGR exhaust tubes, the turbo itself, the radiator, everything that's kind of just boiling up and cavitating right under the hood right there. So what happens is that rubber, EPDM's really only good to about 250 degrees max. So what happens is that when it gets brittle, the hose can even crack. So other than just the plastic, the hose gets brittle, gets nasty. Something you don't want to have happen. So being that this is at the top of the system, even if this hose cracks, now you're pumping coolant onto the top of the engine, you're having a bunch of issues. So we wanted to eliminate that. So we went to a 304 stainless steel T. It's a nice setup, same dimensionally. The hose itself. So we went with a silicone. It's a lot of the products that we make are very similar as far as the ply and the material. And the nice thing about the hose aspect of it is silicone will deal with way more temperature. So we're looking at this silicone setup is good for about 500 degrees Fahrenheit, when the EPDM rubber that the factory hose is only good about 250. So huge upgrade. You don't have to worry about it. There's multi-layer reinforcement in these hoses rather than the factory hose only having a single reinforcement layer in it. You have 5 layers in these, and it's just a better all-around setup. So all factory locations, everything goes in all the factory spots. As I said in the beginning, it is a replacement hose. We give you the new hold down clips. It is a tree style clip with zip tie, which is just like the factory ones. We're actually going to show you on the truck here, show you how to put this on real quick. The inner clamps for the T's, they are stainless steel band style crimp clamps. So those come done, put on for you, ready to go. The outer ones at the connection points on the engine are a scroll style clamp, so you can put them on with standard hand tools. So let's hop on the truck and get this thing installed. Normally what we'll do, you can get away with not draining the coolant because it's at such a high point in the system. Normally you just have air, as long as the engine's not running, you just have air chilling up here. If you do want to though, you can drain the primary cooling system, take a gallon out of it. You'll be plenty low enough to do this installation. So we'll start off by loosening connection points. It's real simple. You're going to want to grab a pin popping tool and a nice set of pliers. Most pliers are going to get it done for you. There are different types of pliers for spring clamps and scroll clamps, so just use those, and then we'll go ahead and just pop these off here. So these are just like a Christmas tree style connector with a built-in zip tie. So we'll just go through, there's 3. On this particular truck, this is a 2018, or no, this is 2020. There are there's 3 on this truck. So there's 1 over here. So we'll go ahead and just pop these out. As I stated before, you do get new versions of these, so if you break them, doesn't matter. Just go ahead and pop them out there. And then there's 1 more up here. So, like that. And then we'll just pop all the holders loose. And then all we have left are the actual spring clamps. So take your pliers and just move through them and pop them loose. You're going to want to squeeze them and then just kind of slide them up the hose. Normally I'll go through and do all the clamps first, and then I'll go through and pop the hoses off unless they come off like this one, where you kind of got to do it all in one shot. Like that. Same thing here. The other thing they'll do sometimes, it's not all the time, is they'll actually glue the spring clamp to the hose, which makes it a huge pain too. And I'll normally grab the hose like that and just break the tension with it. And then it pops right off. Same thing here, we'll do the radiator connection. Do the same thing. Slide that back like that. And then all we got left on the bottle over here, which we already had this pulled off. Go ahead and just yank that off. And that's your whole hose. So I'll normally bring the ends in together like this. Lift it up out, and then it doesn't leak anywhere. Now, I do want to touch on this real quick before we get rid of this. There are protective sheaths on this hose. So these are like a fiberglass lined tin cover deal. They do this because these hoses are EPDM, and if we're running it over an exhaust pipe, the radiant heat from this exhaust pipe could be, you know, above 250 degrees. So if that's the case, they want to protect the rubber. The silicone ones are not going to require these because they'll operate at 500 degrees. So if you do want to do this, you can. You could actually remove these from the factory hose. You do not have to, but if you wanted to do that, you could. Grab our new hose here, just throw it up on the truck, get it kind of laid out the way it's supposed to go. Then you can see the routing path. And then, all right, so for the scroll clamps that go at your connection points, you can either use a flathead screwdriver or a 6mm socket and wrench. Make sure that I'm telling you guys the right thing. Yes, so these particular clamps are 6mm clamps. So normally what I'll do is I'll get them started like that. You don't want to make them too tight because you do have to go over the barb with it. So I'll slide these on each point of the hose so that they're ready to go and we don't forget it. Do that as such. And then what we'll do, I normally like to actually put it in the clamps now. Just to see where everything's going to lay out. And then what we'll do is we'll add our zip ties that come with it once we figure out positioning here. Make sure we get everything kind of where we want it to be. Yeah, so it looks pretty good. So we can go ahead and shove these on now. Go, put the rad one on. All right, so now if that's all in place, we can go ahead and put our clamps on. To speed this process up, I'm going to use a Electric driver. Don't do this at home. And if you do use an electric driver, I just recommend going over it by hand so you can make sure it's not over tightened. Get that on. All right. One more here. Okay, so now that we got that all snug down, we'll go ahead and put our zip ties on. I'll show you how those work. It's really simple. The one thing I do want to touch on real quick is this hose fits multiple years. We actually have two different variations of it, and this one will follow from 17 and up. And the routings do change just slightly, but we actually route this one a little different to help keep it away from the heat, so there's more gap under this. Just wanted to make a note of that. But we're going to go ahead and put these zip ties in. So you have a Christmas tree barb, and all you're going to do is line that up here, push it down like that into the hole, and then wrap this around. And don't get them super tight. You're just going to want to kind of line everything up to where you want it. And then just snug it, because these hoses do expand and contract because they're under pressure. So you don't want to get too crazy with them. And that's it. That's all she wrote. And then all we'll do is we'll go in here and we'll trim these off with some dikes, and you're good to go. Probably leaving this on here, so should probably check these, huh? All right, guys, so now if you took any coolant out of it, top it back off, and you're ready to go. You're all set. So this is, as I said in the beginning, this is our 2011 to current replacement 6.7 Power Stroke Degas hose kit. So drops onto factory truck, complete replacement kit. We appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you guys liked the little quick install video there. If you have any questions on this product, what it fits, if it works for you, whatever it may be, say something in the comments, give us a call, email us, whatever. We'd be more than happy to help you. If you like this content, please subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.